Hi guys, it's Nadine. Welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing another video. It's episode number 3 of my work from home series entitled Engoo Demo Class Tips or Demo Class Tips for Engoo. Even if you're not applying on Engoo, I hope this video will also help you when you apply for other companies or when you do demo class for other companies. Okay guys, so as I mentioned earlier, we will be doing episode number 3 Demo Class Tips for Engoo. And our agenda today will be number 1, things to check. Number 2, demo class tips. Number 3, daily news. Number 4, free conversation or free convo. And number 5, question and answer. For part 1, things to check. Before conducting a demo class, again, please make sure your laptop is functioning properly. You have stable internet connection. Please do a speed test against Tokyo server. Of course, make sure your headset is being recognized and is working properly and that your webcam is clear as well. Aside from that, please dress appropriately. Again, if you have a blazer, please do wear that. Be punctual. Be inside the lesson room at least 10 minutes before the class. Run a speed test again, and of course, do a test call via Bellbird. Bellbird is the same platform we use for the demo class and for the actual lessons. So you can do a test call on Bellbird to see if your headset and if your microphone is working properly, as well as your video. For your information, guys, we have a spill that we follow in Engoo. We do use this on a daily basis for every single one of our class. And yes, this is the pattern we follow. So the link for the spill will be down below as well. Before conducting a demo class, please make sure you familiarize yourself with the spill. If you can't memorize it in time, here's a tip that I usually do. I just open a new tab. So lesson my lesson is over on the left side and then my spill is on the right side, different windows, and I just put the spill on the center so that even if I'm kind of reading it, I'm still looking on the camera. During the demo class, please make sure to always smile and maintain eye contact. Ask questions after every exercise, and of course, make use of the chat box when correcting your students' pronunciation or sentences. And if they have questions, please explain the correct answer in simple terms. So, what I usually do is I give them the synonym of the word, and then afterwards, I give them a short explanation. I make sure to say it and type it on the chat box as well. And after correcting the sentence or the pronunciation of the word, I ask them to read it for me on the chat box just to make sure that they got it. Okay, after the demo class, end the lesson with a smile always. And of course, write good lesson notes. By the way, guys, you do have to end at the 14th minute or 1 minute before your demo class ends. Please start ending the class because there are students who don't like to overtime. Okay, guys, so this is how the lesson room looks like. When you open the lesson room, the material automatically pops up once the timer starts or once the lesson starts. And yes, we do have a timer once the lesson has begun. You will see how many minutes has elapsed and how far you are from ending the lesson. In the lesson room, the material that the student chose will automatically pop up once the lesson time starts or once the timer begins. One of the features of our lesson room is, of course, shared navigation, so you can see the same thing as your student, and when you highlight something, your student can see it as well. So I typically use that function just to make sure that me and my student are on the same page, on the same part of the lesson. Guys, here's the chat box. While the student is talking, I usually type in what he or she says so that I can correct it right away, send it on the chat box, and make him or her read it or repeat it again. To become an online English tutor at Engoo, you have to pass 2 demo classes, 15 minutes each. First one is daily news, wherein the material is provided, and the second one is free conversation or free talk, where no material is provided. So you really have to engage yourself with the student in a conversation for 15 minutes. Part 3, daily news. This is an example of a student's request. You can see under lesson contents, it says original materials daily news. So automatically from this student's request, you know that the student wants to do a daily news or wants to use a daily news material. So how do we conduct the daily news? Daily news is basically read and repeat, but of course you have to ask the student in the beginning of the class if he or she would like to repeat after you or read by himself or herself. For the vocabulary, you read the word first and you ask the student to repeat after you, the definition and you ask the student to repeat after you, and then just one sample sentence and then the student will repeat after you. And again, guys, always ask the student if he or she has questions after every exercise. So this is how the daily news looks like. For the vocabulary, again, you just have to the word, read the word and ask the student to repeat after you. Read the definition and ask the student to repeat after you. And then, of course, the sample sentence below. After the vocabulary, exercise number 2 is always an article. So what we do here is we ask the student to repeat the title after us and then paragraph by paragraph. For the vocabulary and article, it goes something like this. For example, okay, exercise number 1, blank son, please repeat after me, okay? Reputation. And the student says reputation, an opinion that people have about something based on what has happened in the past. And then he or she will repeat, and then the sample sentence. She has a reputation for honesty and whatever is down below, and then she repeats after you. All right, so for exercise number 2, it's an article. Please repeat after me. Title first and then paragraph, okay? Okay, please repeat after me. Uber destroys thousands of electric bikes. And then the student will repeat after you. And then, ride sharing company Uber has upset supporters of cycling by destroying tens of thousands of electric bikes and scooters. Videos of bikes being destroyed at a US recycling center have led many to ask why they were not, and then so on. And then after the paragraph, the student will repeat after you. Again, guys, for daily news, it's just read and repeat. And if you hear any mispronounced words, please do correct it on the chat box and ask the student to repeat it afterwards. Now, usually exercise number 3 consists of either reading comprehension or discussion. For discussion, you just have to read the question and ask the student. So what you do is you ask the student to answer you in sentences, and while they're speaking, you try to type their sentences and rephrase it for them. You try to correct their sentences. On the chat box, you send it to them and then you ask them to repeat it. Next part is the free conversation. So a lot of people really get nervous about free conversation. This is how the students' request form for free conversation looks like. Under lesson contents, you can see free conversation. Here's some tips on how to do your free conversation. Tip number 1 is to choose a topic your student is interested in. Remember, guys, in the earlier part of the lesson, you did an introduction. So please make sure to take note of the hobbies and interests of your student. If you ask the student, hey, blank son, what do you want to talk about today? And the student will say, no, teacher, I don't know what topic I'd like to choose. You choose for me, teacher. You can say, okay, blank son, I remembered you mentioned earlier that you like playing video games. What kind of video games do you like to play? So yeah, from that topic, you draw up follow-up questions. It should always be related to that topic. So if you started with video games, make sure that your next question will also be about video games and so on. It always has to be connected. For example, okay, so what kind of video games do you like to play? And what's your top 3 favorite video games? Why do you like this video game? How long do you play this video game every day? Questions like that can help make sure they're always related. Please refrain from changing the topic. Make it as comfortable, as fun as possible, and avoid dead air. Next would be to maintain the 70-30 rule. 70% student, 30% teacher. Make sure to listen attentively and respond appropriately. For example, that's nice, great job, awesome, interesting, things like that. So yeah, make sure to respond to your student. And if your student just keeps on asking you questions, how do we maintain the 70-30 rule? You can just say, how about you? If your student keeps asking you questions, one way to maintain the 70-30 rule is to throw back the question to him or her. For example, my student is asking me about my favorite Filipino dishes. I can throw back the question by saying, how about you, student? Or how about you, Block-san? What are your favorite Japanese dishes? Something like that. How about you is just an example of how we can return or throw back the question to the student, but it's very important because again, guys, during free conversation, our goal is to maintain the 70-30 rule. When doing the free conversation, please take note, guys, that you still have to correct your students. When you hear their sentence is wrong, you can just type it again or rephrase their answer and then send it to them via chat box and tell them, okay, Blanc Sun, you can also say it like this. Remember, guys, that when doing demo classes and when conducting classes in general, with Engoo, you have to provide two words, two new words, and two new sentences on the lesson notes. Okay, guys, so since this is a video, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment them down below and I'll try my best to answer them as soon as possible. Again, guys, this is Nadine. If you have any more questions, please feel free to comment them down below. If you guys have booked a training schedule, congratulations. I hope you'll pass your demo class. Please do your best and try to be as fun and as natural as possible. If you guys need help with training preparation, please feel free to message me on Facebook. My name is Nadine Victoria Dizon. And again, guys, if you found this video helpful, please do put me as your referrer. My tutor name is Nadine, Nadine, and my tutor ID is M8076. Again, guys, M8076. That's all for today. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope that you would click like and subscribe down below. Feel free to share this video with your friends and I really hope you pass your demo class. God bless you guys, and always remember, Jesus loves you. Bye!